Hey folks, VM Explorer here. Welcome to another video of mine, and today we're going to have some fun. We're going to be tearing down these two bad boys. We got the Asus DRIVESTOR 2 Pro here, and in the background, waiting its turn, is that LOCKERSTOR 10 that we have. We'll be disassembling it as well. So this is going to be a long video. Sorry, nothing I can do about it, but there's a lot to disassemble. We need to get right to it, and might recommend just kicking this up to 2x. So as you can see, we're going to start by taking off this magnetic panel off the front. No big deal. We're going to get the drive bays out and get this stuff out of the way. And there it goes. Easy peasy. All right, so spinning it around. We can see there's a couple screws we're going to go after here first, and that'll allow us to slide the side panel off. So let's go ahead and get those out of the way. All right, here comes number one. Always fun working on a lazy Susan, so to speak. Definitely makes it a little interesting as it kind of moves around as you're unscrewing stuff. Now, one of the nice things I like about this DRIVESTOR 2 locker is a really simple feature that they added here. And I don't know if you can kind of see this, but right here it actually says close and open, which is beautiful because it explains exactly what I got to do. I love that. So using a little hook back here, I can put a little pressure and get it to slide back, right? Let's get a little more pressure on it. Okay. And there it is. So now it moved to the open position. Why is this important? I mean, that's so simple, right, to put something like that? Because it helps you line up the case when you take it off. When you put it back down, all you got to do is align these two lines right here, and the case fits on properly. What a great idea. It's those simple things I love that just make things so much easier. And you can see as I go down, watch. All I got to do is line that up. Because, when you're putting things together, sometimes you put it too far this way or that way. This one, it's right on the money. It's one of those little simple things that helps you line up the case and get it going. All right, so let's get it off. All right. Now, as you know, one of those common things that start to fail, of course, are those fans, right? We really want to get down in here and get this fan out. We might be able to unplug it from the system board here, and soon we're starting to see how this guy looks here, right? We can kind of see around it a little bit. We can see we're going to have to get this drive tray out of the way with some of the screws that are here and on the back side and bottom. So let's start with these two, and then we'll move to the upper and lowers to get this cage kind of out of the way. And you'll see as it's interconnected onto the system board, it comes off real easy because it just looks like it's a PCI 4 bus maybe that's interconnecting it there. So let's get this guy out. And this guy. All right, so if you notice here, there are a couple different screws. This one here isn't necessarily connected to this piece, but this one is definitely holding it in place. The same is true over here. This one here is mounted to something on the back side. It's not really for this can, so all we need to do is remove this one and this one, and we'll probably do the same thing on the bottom, and then we'll be in really good shape. So here comes this one out. Okay. And this one out. Okay, let's get the bottom two. Now the same challenge here on the bottom, right? The bottom screws. One of these needs to be removed and one doesn't because it's going to stay behind. So we'll do the same thing down here, and we'll get those screws out that need to be removed. All right, now let's just give it an easy kind of tug and see if it's going to wiggle. Yeah, it's wiggling. Okay, so it doesn't feel like anything's catching on anything, and out it comes. How easy was that, right? So now we've got that back plane here, right? We can kind of see very simply. We can see the can here. No big deal. Let's set it off to the side. And now we can start to see into the system board layer where we've got the, the PCI, what appears to be a PCI 4 bus there, PCIe bus Cannot talk today. So sorry. A PCIe 4X bus. There, we got it out. All right. Now, battery replacement would probably be important here, right? That's something we might want to service. And then also the fan as well, right? So now one thing we didn't get into is where's the RAM? That might be kind of important if you want to replace the RAM in this or add RAM, right? But it's not expandable, so there's really not much more you can do with this. I can pull off these mounts here and there and start to get this whole piece out of it. So let's do that real quick, and I'll kind of show you the back side of it. Okay, there goes one. There goes two. Number 3 and 4. So you don't necessarily need to do this step. There's not much more you really have to do here with this system. This is just to show the back plane. I mean, now you can get access to the battery and replace the fan if you wanted to, so you kind of have to pull that out, right? Okay, so let's see if we can get this to separate, or I might have to do the rest of the screws. I think this should come right out. Let's see. Okay, so let's just get it like this, right? And we're going to hang on to the back side of the plastic there and kind of wiggle the tray out. And as we do that, it'll start coming loose. Be careful on these LEDs right here, right? You don't want to bust those up. Plus you get a USB and a button here that goes as well. So be careful with this. Of course, this is a demo unit. You don't want to be doing this at home, right? This should be done by a qualified service technician from Asus store, right? Okay, so now we got it out. You can kind of see these are the LED kind of like little conduits there that the LEDs are on the system board, and they go through these little tubes, light tubes to kind of make the light come out. You got a button, the USB port, and looking on the back side, like I said, there's really not much there on the back side of the board. Nothing really to disassemble. No real reason to kind of pull it off here. But once you've got it out of this case, you know, like I said, you can replace the fan, service the battery, and that's pretty much wrapping up this teardown for the DRIVESTOR 2 Pro. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put on a pause. We're going to bring in the big boy, right? We're going to tear him apart, and that'll take us a little bit longer. Poof, there we go. Now we're on the LOCKERSTOR10 here, and we're going to start by taking it apart. So what I've already done is, let's spin it around here. Okay, I've already taken out some of the screws, the two here on the sides and the one on the top, to kind of release the case. And it's similar to like a PC case. You know, you got your screws on your back, you just pop it off, right? And again, things I'm looking for is, you know, how do I maintain this unit? What can I do with this unit, right? How easy is it to work on? So a lot of times what we're after are these fans in this unit right here, either trying to clean them out, or maybe one's gone bad, too loud, whatever it is, we want to do those types of things. So spinning this around, the RAM upgrades are real easy, right? I can get in here, and hey, look, there's one, and down below, hey, there's two, right? So those are really easy to get to. I just take the lid off, I'm into it, you know, it's not a big problem. Let's lift up here a little bit and get a better look. And I can see right here, there's the Nvme slots, so that's kind of handy, and our system board, you know, right down below it. But how do we get to that system board? And what if we have to replace things in this unit? That's where those questions start to come into play, is, you know, working with this thing and actually disassembling it. So let's take a look at it here. Let's spin it around. We can see there's 4 screws here, but if I remove this, I can't really get it out because I'm kind of locked, right? I can't move. The bezels need to come off on this side to actually get this board out. And if I spin it around, okay, what do I got over here? I've got similar things going on. We got some a screw right here, but a rivet there. Okay, let's spin it around again. Okay, I got a screw right here. So it looks like with this bar right here, right, I can kind of see across. I got screws here, here, okay, there, and here, kind of associate to this back panel. So to me, it looks like that would probably be the logical step, is to try to get this bezel off of this unit. Right? So one of the first things I'm going to do is just look in, and we want to check on the inside of the unit, okay, to see how things are connected. I don't see anything connected to this metal thing except for the metal bezel, except for the power supply. So we're probably going to have to loosen that up to kind of get this back plate off so we can start getting into the internals of it. So let's go ahead and get that going. Let's get straightened out here, camera. Come on, buddy. Okay. Well, if you like rough and grainy videos, you found the right place, guys. No fancy music. No animations, no funny pictures, just straight to the point technical information. All right, so let's get this screw out. I always kind of like to set my screws from kind of start to finish in order and in pairs as I remember things as I'm disassembling it. It kind of makes it easy. Okay, so let's get this guy out of here on the side. So there's 2 screws there. Sorry, I know it's off camera a little bit. All right, so we got that. Now we're going to focus on this one and this one over here, which are those kind of crossbars that come in. All right, so let's get on those. I have a funny feeling there's going to be a lot of screws we're going to have to remove here in a second. Okay, let's get you out of there, you. All right. Crossbar here. Okay, there it goes. Okay, so let's see how loose it is. Still pretty tight. So I'm guessing that a lot of these screws that kind of help support the system board attachment, right? These guys kind of right here. And it looks like there might be 1 or 2 of the power supply screws and maybe a few down here. They're going to have to come out. So let's get them all out of the system. And so far, these all look like the same kind of bolts or screws that are coming out. You know, look like machine bolts is what I'm seeing. They're all about the same length. So far, nothing different. So that's good news, you know. One thing to notice back here on the corner is your handy dandy reset button. Little push right there in case you got to reset this unit. Alright, and we're getting there. Let's get this guy out. Alright, I'll get over here. Oh, that's a fan. So now we're back into some more bolts here. Okay. Almost there. Okay, we're almost ready. Now we get to loosen the power supply a little bit. Okay, you come on. Get that guy out. Get this guy out. So many of them. That's okay. It's built solid. You know, big unit like this with that many drives. If you think about it, 10 drives, that's a lot of weight, right? That's quite a bit. Let's see what we got here now if we got it loosened. Okay, we're still pretty tight. So we might have missed something. So let's take a look. Oh, there it is right there, that guy. Okay. So he's part of that bezel as well. Amazing what one screw, one bolt can do, right? Holding the system together. Oh yeah, it's loosening up now. Miss one, it doesn't come off. All right, so now we're starting to feel it move a little bit. There you go, see that? All right, so let's see what else we got here. What else we got? Okay, just needs a little bit of a push. Okay. Okay, so you can kind of see the top is pretty loose, but it's pretty tight still, so something's holding it on. Let's take a look at the bottom real quick. Ah, sure enough, there they are. 2 more screws. One here and one there. And that'll release this back bezel so we can get access to those fans. So this one goes. Okay. This one goes. Okay. So now we can get access to that bezel. Let's pull it off of the Lazy Susan just a little bit. And now you can start. Oh, there it goes. All right, let's put it squared back up. get the weight off that system board, right? And there it comes. Okay, now there's two fan connectors right here. Probably can't see them off video. I'm just going to disconnect them. And now, voila, there's our internals. Here's our fans, right? So now if I wanted to, I could take these out, blow them out, clean them out, replace them, do whatever I need to do. They're now out of the way. And we're looking at now the back plane and one of the power connectors. So we've got our power supply here, we've got our back plane here, then we've got our fan connectors, which are here and there, and then all the interconnections for the back plane. If you notice, it all kind of feeds this direction right into that PCI E4X, right into there. So from here, we're pretty well done. I mean, look, there's two screws on the back side of this power supply. That would come off pretty easy. I disconnect it here, disconnect it from the system board, right? Unzip tie it here with a couple clips, right? And this power supply is out. In fact, I don't have to take this whole back plane off, or this bezel off, to get to this power supply. I could have just taken out these 4 screws, 2 in the back, made a few snips, and still got to it. Same with the NVMe. It's very accessible from here. If this little back plane were to fail for whatever reason they're plugged into, or if I need to replace it, nice finger screws right here. I like that. I don't have to have any tools for that, except for just to kind of take off the lid, 2 little bolts, and I'm into my NVMe. And then I can get into the system board side, which we are going to take out because we want to see that, right? You can kind of see it's got a connection here and a connection here. So we're going to want to disconnect the power supply from the system board. Okay, so we'll set it up on its side here a little bit. Let's see if we can get a good view of that. It might be the best way to visualize it. Okay, good. So you can see right here, these are the power supply connectors that I'm going to be going after here in a second. I'm going to disconnect those 2 and disconnect this little bus here, which is our front control panel input for the system. So let's do that, and then we'll pull this system board off, and we'll get a good look at it. All right. So off comes the connector, off comes the power supply unit. So there it is. And as you can see, all these connectors are different, right? None of them are the same, so you can't really mess them up. And you can't put them on backwards because they're all keyed, right? All right, so let's go ahead and get this out. What I'm going to do now, though, is I'm going to probably pull out these 2 NVMe's just because I know we're going to be pulling on them a little bit, and I'd prefer not to mess around. So let's just pull those out. There's one. Probably don't have to do this step, but why not? All right, so now we're off that bus right there in the corner. Okay, let's get our screws out for our system board. Once you get the system board out of the way, then you can start to see the front bezel, and there's quite a bit of screws for that. I don't know if we need to go that far. I could understand if somebody wanted to. I'll show you where the screws are for it. They're a little tricky to get to, but you could take the whole front bezel off and get access to all the buttons and the wiring and stuff. Nothing really big in there, so I don't know if we're going to take it quite that far, but we'll show you where everything's at. Okay, there goes the screw. That's fine. One of these days I'll get a magnetic bit for this thing. No big deal. Come out of there, you. Lid is in there. There it goes. All right, now we're good. Yeah, I saw that screw fall too. We'll get it. Little easy tug, little easy pull. Okay, kind of wiggle it a little bit. Just would you like removing a system? Now there's a connector down here similar to like a PCIe. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's just kind of wiggle this, wiggling up and down and forward. You can see the edge connector there, right? Which goes into the edge connector right there. Okay, so now we've got our system board out. Let's take a look at it. Let's flip it over. No big surprise, right? So again, things you'd want to do if you were servicing this is this battery, right? You'd want to service this battery. You'd have to get in here, dig around. You might be able to kind of worm your way around in this section, but it was really tight. These big heat sinks were in the way. You know, it was going to be really hard to get into this area to unplug this. You're going to have to pull the system board if you want to get to this battery. Hopefully that's not something that commonly fails. And maybe one design they could do is getting this connector up top here. That would make more sense. We've got a lot of room up here. You know, why do I have to take my whole system board out to get to this one battery that if it fails, that's a lot of work. I mean, look how many screws I had to take out, how much I had to pull apart to get to the battery. That might be an area of improvement to kind of get it up into here, mount it here, right? Make the connector, which is pretty close. This was the top of these here were the top, right? We're up here. Let's get that battery connector a little bit close to make it user serviceable so I don't have to pull the system board out and get my fingers all over it, right? But there's the system board. And folks, we're just about done. Let's show you the bezel pieces here. Now you get that screw that fell. There he is. Get him out. Let's spin it around. All right, so what you're looking for is down in here, right in this corner right here, sorry, right in there, there's some screws that kind of line up with the bezel. There's 2 on this side, and then there's 2 on this side. These ones are harder to get to. Okay, they're a little more complicated, right? So getting in there, this isn't too bad now that I got the back plane off. This larger screwdriver, sorry, my hand's in the way. This larger screwdriver is going to fit, right? It's going to fit in there, and I can get those screws out. Get those 2 out. There's a little clip right there. That front bezel should pop right off, and then you're good to go. So, folks, that is the teardown, for the most part, of the Asus LOCKERSTOR10. If you enjoyed this video, please hit subscribe, and we'll be seeing you real soon with my follow-up videos to the 10 gigabit NAS home lab. Take care and have a great day.